So let's start by looking at the structure. We're going to first of all generate the chart of accounts file, and then also the ledger, legal entity, and the business unit. So what I'm going to do first is generate the file, and then I will kick up the programs to create these artifacts, i.e. the chart of accounts and the structure. And then I'll come back to the spreadsheet to come and delve into the details of the spreadsheet a little bit more. So first of all, let's validate just to make sure the files are okay. So yeah, validation successful, no errors found. So I'm going to look at the report. So this is just a sample structure of the report that you will get when you run your reports using this structure that we're going to define. So let's generate a chart of accounts file. So I'm going to click on generate chart of accounts, and I want to zip the files into my quick demo directory. So my chart of accounts to start with. And then I'm going to generate my ledger, legal entity, and the business unit. So that's my financials common entities zip file. And next we're going to load the files into the application. So I've logged in as my user, FinIMPL. So I'm going to go straight into the setup and maintenance. And I'm going to search. So click on search from my taskbar. I'm going to search for upload chart of accounts. So let's start with that. And clicking on the link. So I'm going to select my file to upload my file, which is my chart of accounts. Click on open and then submit. So this will run an ESS job in the background. So let's refresh. So it's ready. So when it starts to run, then I will go back to the spreadsheet, and then we'll look at some of the structures. So let's check to see. So now you can see that now it's running the maintain value sets, and is going to upload my structure, my chart of account structure. So now it's maintaining chart of accounts hierarchies. And we can see that it's completed the full structure. So before I continue with the spreadsheet, so let me just go on and load the other set of data. So click on done. And now I'm going to upload my ledger. Upload my ledger, legal entities, and BU. So let's select the file, which is my financials common entities, and submit. Click on OK. Let's refresh. And this will take a while. So while this is running, let's go back to the spreadsheet, and then I'll take you through how the spreadsheet was created and the details on the spreadsheet. So I'm going to click on done whilst I do that. And what I'm going to do first of all is search for my create chart of accounts. Create chart of accounts. Let's search. And this will allow me to download the rapid implementation spreadsheet. So that's downloaded. So let me just click on this to open the spreadsheet. Should open the spreadsheet in Excel. So this is the spreadsheet that we'll normally use to load the data. I'm going to enable content, and the spreadsheet gives you all the information that you need in preparing the data, loading the setup data, and also you have a sample data as well that you can use. And if you want to add additional hierarchies, and also if you want to look at the common setup objects, so it takes you through an understanding of how all of this works. But let me take you through the spreadsheet very quickly, and then we're going to look at the example that we are going to load as well. So the first tab of the spreadsheet gives you the details of this is where you enter the details of the ledger, the currency, the periods, and also the chart of accounts segments. And the next tab shows you where you can enter details of the business units, company structures. So we're going to go through this with some data in a few minutes, and also the natural accounts and some financial sequences. So for the purpose of this demo, there is a set of data which is called the data sample data XLSM. So I'm going to double click on this, and I'm going to enable macros. So we already have some pre-entered data for us in Fusion Ledger, and we have some details on company, business units, companies and legal entities. We also have some natural account segments, line of business, cost center, product. So what I've basically done is use exactly the same data to generate the data that we used when we actually loaded the data into the system. So I'm going to open the spreadsheet with my data, and I will explain how the data was generated. So first, you've got the name of the ledger, which is Acme Ledger. Currency will be selected based upon the country of the business unit or legal entity. And then the frequency of my calendar, which is a monthly calendar, adjusting period once at the year end, and also my physical year start date, which is the 1st of January 2017. And then I have the structure of my chart of accounts. You need to have at least a primary balancing segment, a natural segment. These two, and also cost center segments, are usually the ones that you would have. So I've added for this structure my secondary balancing segment. So that means that my journals must balance on these two segments. And I also need to enable intercompany transactions for me to be able to balance on another segment if I need to. And then I have an intercompany segment for that purpose. And I have all the different display with, and also the prompt. Next tab, I have my business units. My business units, I've got US business unit 1, unit 2, Canada, and also the default legal entity names will be Cupertino Cherry San Carlos Chocolates Co. Canada Limited. In my companies and legal entities, you can see the structure. So one thing to notice that if you're using this spreadsheet to build yours, you need to ensure that certain values are changed. So one of the values that you would need to change are the identifiers. So you need to create your unique identifiers when you use this file. So for example, if you use the same data that you have here, then it would fail when it's trying to create the structure. So a few things to note. You have your structure, your parent-child relationship data is entered at the child level. When I say entered, I'm talking about when you are actually transacting. So my child for my Acme USA Limited is 3888, and this will be the default that will be used for the ledger. When I build my ledgers, this will be my balancing segment that will be used. So I've got my legal entity names. I've got the addresses. So these are all my companies. This is my company name. These are the identified. This is the structure. So at the child level, I've got USA Corporation as company description with company legal entity name USA Limited 1, and under Limited 1 I've got 3 different companies. Now this one's are going to be flowing into my Acme ledger. So those are BSV or balance and segment values. And then I have my address, my identifier, legal entity identifier, my address line, city, state, country. All of this will be created for us by the programs that I'm running in the background right now. And I've also got my registration number and my reporting registration number. So my natural accounts, I have a structure which identifies my assets, liability, owner's equity, income and expenditure, or revenue and expenditure. And also I have different account types which will help me to build my subledgers. So for example, if I look at my financial category, my account type will help me to build my subledgers. My financial category will also help me to build my reports. So let me just go to data, select filter. I just want to show you some of the account types. So if I select account type, assets, let's do a few of these assets once. Cash clearing, I'll click on OK. Actually, let me just make it slightly easier, and then just click on asset accounts receivable. So I've got my just one account there for my accounts receivable, so that's going to be used within my account receivable setup. If I select, let's go to liability, if I select liability accounts, okay, let's do accounts payable liability. So that'll be my accounts payable liability account, and so on. So all of these will be used directly when we actually build our accounts. So if I want to look at the accounts used by my accounts receivable, then I'll find out that I've got my accounts receivables, asset, unbilled receivables, confirmed receipts. So all of these will be used automatically by the system when it generates the accounts for us for the subledgers. So I've got also my financial sequences, and then this was a preview report that I looked at earlier on, and then also my other accounts, my cost centers. This is my cost center structure, and also my product and my line of business. So that's basically the structure of your account. So let's go back and look at the program and see how far it's going. So I'm going to click on done. So actually very quickly I'm going to go to my monitor processes. So let's refresh again. There we go. It's all completed, all succeeded. So let's go and create. So I need to assign my legal entity to a legislative group for payroll purposes. So before I do that, so let me just go to my setup and maintenance, and I'm going to manage the legal entity HCM information. So let's just search, and I'm just going to type in manage manage legal entity HCM information. So my legal entity name is going to be Acme. Let's just do one for Acme. Search. So I want one for Acme Cupertino Sherry's, so you can see the information that we entered in the spreadsheet already showing. So all our legal entities have been created. So I'm going to go to my, first of all, let's click on edit. So I'm going to correct. Let's go to the statutory pay unit. So the associated legislative data group is going to be my US. Let's just search for US. US legislative data group. Click on OK. And physical start year will be 1/1. Let's just say 18. Submit. So that's submitted. So now I can go in and create my employee for Acme Cupertino Sherry's. So let's just go straight to manage user. And I'm going to add my user called setup user. So surname is user, first name is setup. Mr. So setup.user. I don't want that sent. Email address setup.user at abc.com. Hire date, let's make this 1/1/18. Person type is going to be employee. Legal employer, I want it to be my Acme Cupertino Sherry's. Business unit will be my Acme Business Unit 1. I've also got options to enter job, department, grade and all that, so I'll leave that for now. And if I've got roles that I can auto provision based on these rules, then those will be auto provisioned as well. But by default, I should have the employee role provisioned. So I should have actually unchecked send username and password. So let's do that. Let's uncheck send username and password. Save and close. And then I'll go in and change the password and log in as my new user. And I'll probably let me just add some roles to this user whilst I do that as well. So let's click on done. So I'm going to go into the security console and I'm going to add some roles to my new user that I've just created. So I'm going to go to tools, security console, and I'm going to add a few roles to my user. Let's search for the user setup. So that's my user created, assigned to Acme US Business Unit 1. So first of all, let me just change the password. I'm going to reset the password to So I've just reset the password. So we're going to add a few roles. So that's the user details. So I'm just going to click on add role. So IT security manager, usually the first one I add, that gives you access to the security console. And select the one which has the ORA, add role membership. And I'm going to add the application implementation manager. Okay, let me just add the consultant to start with. And again, I want the one with the ORA, add role membership. Click on OK. And I want to also add my general accountant. So general accountant, again the one with the ORA, and I want to add general accounting manager. General accounting manager, again the one with the ORA, add role membership. So that should be okay for now. So let's save and close, and I'm going to log in as this new user and then assign some additional privileges to the user so you can see what the user has right now. So let's click on done, and I'm going to log out. So sign out. Let's confirm. Enter the username and password, click on sign in. So that's my user logged in. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to look at a few things. I'm going to change the setup users preferences. So if I go to my preferences, let's do a few tweaking, few changes. So my general ledger preferences, I'm going to select a default category of adjustments for my journals, and I'm going to select my US Business Unit 1. I don't have a data set yet. I'm going to create some, and I'm going to click on save. So let's go home, and I'm going to go in now and add some data access. So switch from here to financials. So here I can actually review some of the default setup that has been done. So for example, in my legal structures, I can look at my legal entity details. So my legal entity, apply and go to task. And I'm going to select Acme Cupertino Sherry's. Save and close. So you can see the details of my legal entity. So if I switch to the spreadsheet, so if I look at my companies and legal entities and scroll to my Acme Cupertino Sherry's, you would see that it's used exactly the same address that I have, 625 Court Street, You see that 625 Court Street. So that's an example of some of the details that have been loaded. Let's go to my financial structures. If I go to my chart of accounts, let's go to my chart of accounts. Let's look at the structures. Again, let's do a search and manage structures. My structure code Acme, which is for my Acme ledger, and you can see that again that's already generated for me. You can see the structure of my chart of accounts generated, and you can see the structure in a bit more detail. You can see segment 1, the name, the type, all selected for us, all done for us. Another thing that you can view is the structure instances. Again, instance code Acme. So my Acme ledger. Again, you can see the details. Dynamic combination allowed. That allows me to create code combinations, and I've got value set code for each one, and I can even look at the values that have been entered for each of the value set codes. So search, and these are the values that I have in my spreadsheet. So let's just go to my spreadsheet, scroll, and then you will see these values. There we go. 3000 USA Limited. You can see all the different values done for us. 3251, my Cupertino cherries. So that's my structure. That's my chart of accounts, all done for me just by loading the spreadsheet. Let's click on done. My accounting calendars, currencies, rates, all of these rates I can load that automatically. So again, let's have a look at my ledger options. So primary ledger, apply and go to task. Again, Acme USA, save and close. So you can see that's my Acme ledger, number of future periods. My first open period, remember we selected January, and then you have other things like your retained earnings account, rounding account, all done automatically. So I'm going to uncheck run auto reverse after opening the period. I'm going to enable intercompany accounting. Again, I must define my intercompany accounting rules, and I can see sequences and any other defaults. So that's my setup. So save and close. Again, my SLAM, you can see that there. So to open my first period, I can go in and click on open first period. I need to assign a data set first, so let's do that. So manage data access sets. So actually, let's look at the data access sets that we have, and then I'm going to assign it to my user. So I've got one for my Acme Ledger US. So you can see this is my Acme Ledger US, which needs to be added to my user. Okay, so that my user will have access to those to the ledgers. And to do that, I'm just going to search for manage data access set, data access for users. So for my user, let's just add for my setup user, setup setup.user, and then I'm going to select my role for my general accountant, my data access set, and I want this to be my Acme Ledger US. So this is for my general accountant. So let's add another one. So I'm just going to duplicate this, and I'm going to add this for my accounting manager. Oops, sorry, let's just get this data access set. Again, Acme US Ledger, or Acme Ledger US, save and close. So that's giving my user access to those accounts. So what I'm just going to do, actually, let's just test this by going to my preferences and see if I have access to my data access set. So now this is going to be adjustment, business unit, Acme US business unit 1, and I can see my Acme US Ledger. So for my dashboard, I want to see Acme US Ledger, and I haven't opened an accounting period yet. So again, I can see those. So let's go back to my setup and maintenance, and what I want to do now is see if I can open my first period. Let's go to financials, general ledger, open my first period, and I can see that I can open Jan 17. So let's submit, click on OK. So let's monitor the progress for that. Actually, before doing that, what I'm going to do is go to my general accounting and look at my period close, because I'm going to load some journals, and then we're just going to do a few reports as well. So let's so it's never opened August 18th. So let's go to my general ledger, and I'm going to open, you can see that the periods are now open. I'm going to open a target period. I'm going to open, let's open December 18, click on open, and that will open all the periods up to December 18. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to load some journals. So I'm going to do that via spreadsheet. So let's go back to, let's go home, not literally, but general accounting, journals. So what I'm going to do now is load some journals. So create journal in spreadsheet. So that will download the spreadsheet for me. So I'm just going to open the spreadsheet, and it will prompt me to log in with my username and password. So setup.user, and then my password. That will load up very simple template for me with some of the data that I need. So for example, I've got my data access set automatically generated. So I'm going to enter one for multiple journals, and I already have data. So let me just go to my journals, and let's go to all data journal. I'm going to load a huge journal. So this is my legacy journals. Normally what would happen is that you would load some old data or legacy data. So I have a big journal here for all of last year. So I have 4,261, and I'm going to load some for this year. Might as well put everything into one spreadsheet. and this is all the way down to 2,800. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create a new sheet here. I'm going to do a quick copy of everything and put it into my load that I want to load. So that's all my 2017 data, and I'm going to add at the bottom of this my additional data for 2018. So this is a lot of data to load. We'll see what happens, because we want to do some journals and just do some comparisons. So copy, take it to my worksheet, Control V to paste. So I have lots and lots of data to play with here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy and paste this data. I've put it in exactly the same structure as my data that I want to load, so 7,000 lines. So let's go into my spreadsheet and insert thousands of lines. This is similar to breaking the spreadsheet. So I'm going to add about 8,000 lines. I'm sure someone's going to come back and say, oh, there's a quicker way of creating lines, multiple lines in Excel. But for the purpose of this demo, we'll just stick to what we know for now. So I'm going to go to my spreadsheet. Let's go back to the top of my spreadsheet and my journal batch. Let's do that one. Whoa. So that's my data. Control C, and I'm going to go into my spreadsheet. Control V. Oops, that's not nice. Right click. Let's just, first of all, I'm going to go into unprotect my spreadsheet. Right click. Oh, let's go back. Let's do this again. Oops. Control Z. Oops, can't do that. Right, so let's go back to my data. Control C to copy. Right click, paste special. I'm going to paste values. Yeah, that looks more like it. Okay. So this is my data. All my debits must equal my credits. Let's go all the way to the last part of it. Now, all the flags, all the lines with the flag next to it are going to be loaded. So what I'm going to do, I need to delete all the lines that there is no data to load. So these lines here are going, I'm afraid. So let's delete all of this. So I'm going to, oops. I'm going to right click and I'm going to delete. So that's my data ready to upload. So I'm going to click on create journal, submit. So I have the option to submit and post, which is what I'm going to do. So let it start its work. Still taking its time to load. It's quite a lot of lines to load. So there you go, it's all loaded, submitted, and we've got an ESS job number for it. So let's go into the application and have a look. So if I select running and click on refresh, there's nothing running. So let's see what succeeded. There we go. So we have quite a few things that's happened there. So I'm going to go into my manage journals, and for this new entity that we've just created, we're able to create some journals. So let's have a look. Search. There we go. So that's one of the journals that we've generated, posted as well. So there you go, all posted. Now I want to run some reports as well. So let me go back to my preferences, general ledger preferences. So I want to look at, let's say, August 18 for my general accounting dashboard. Now you can see that I'm able to select a period for my general accounting dashboard. So I'm going to go to there's a few things that we can do from here. First of all, we can look at the general accounting infolets, and that will give us some information. We can also look at some of the financial reporting center to run some of the reports. So if I go to financial reporting center, again, it will take some time to generate all those transactions, but it just shows you the speed at which we can create all of this. So look at the dashboard, so we can see, oops, that's gone too quickly. So let me just do a search for Acme, and that will take a while. It says the report list has been refreshed. So we're going to come back to this page in a few minutes. So let's have a quick look at the dashboard. So there you go. So you can see balance sheet, margins, bottom performers, top performers, debt to equity ratio. All of this is based on the transactions that we've just entered. So for August 18, operating costs, revenue change, close calendar, and we can see a lot of different things, margins, balance sheet, cash, liabilities, equity. We can see a lot of this, depreciation, quick ratio, inventory. So, and this is just based on data that we've just entered. You can see, so that's our dashboard on the Infolets. Let's go back to our reports and see if we can run some of these reports or view them. Again, still being refreshed. So let's go back to my Infolets. So if I look at assets, so I can edit my titles. I can look at a bit more details about the revenue. Tabletop is the best performing account. I can view this as a sunburst. And I can drill down even further, so we can see revenues all in the red, and we can see the reasons. This line of business. I can go from here to another period. Let's see March. March is actually quite good, or better, I would say. Let's just look at January, all in the red. We're not doing very well, are we? Nothing for October. October 18, there's no data there. Let's go to March 18. again, we can see some of these values. View as table, and then you can view this as a table. You can see all the changes, and that's a year-on-year comparison, so you can see the differences between one year and another year. So let's have a look and see if the reporting center is finished. There we go. So we can see, let's go and search for Acme. Acme, no, I don't want CA, I want, let's look at Acme US income statement, July 18. There we go. So that's wine. Year to date for July 18. We can see the comparison between last year and this year. We can see drill down to detailed balances. Gives me opportunity to drill back down. So there we go. So that's my detailed balances. You can see activity for the period. So if I want to look at my spreadsheet, look at one of these values, 3251, okay, 40110. Let's go back to the spreadsheet just to prove some of these things to you. So the spreadsheet, this is the spreadsheet. I'm going to go to my view, data, so I'm going to go to data, filter. I want to filter by month. Let's go back to my the month here is January 18, so let's filter by month 2018, and let's look at January. So that's all my January. Let's take away, I don't want January 2017, so I want to see January 2018 only. And so that's my January 2018, and I want to look at 40110, which is my account. 40110. So that's my journal that I posted, 5839.14, 5839.14. So you can see the data coming through directly into my system. And this can drill me back down to my spreadsheet. You can see that's my spreadsheet. And it's line 213 in that spreadsheet. So that's my journal that I've entered. So again, data all coming from your Infotile. You can view some of this as well. So let's go into wine rooms. Wine room is okay. This is just the variance between one part and another. So it's actually opening up the application. So there we go. So my total for wine rooms, account 40003. So let's go back to my spreadsheet. So I'm going to go for the period. Period is August 18. Let's go back here. Select June, July, August. And I want to look at the account number 40003. So let's do a search. 4000. Oops. 40003. Okay, so let me find everything to start with. Let's do search for all. Okay, let's go back to my account 4000. Oh, that's my grouping, isn't it? Yes, that's my parent value. So to do that, so let's go to my chart of account structure, natural accounts. I'm going to go to my child values. Actually, if I do a Control F to find 40003, how many zeros? Find next. So this is my groupings of wine rooms, and it's a total of 4. That's the parent of, I think it's this 2, 400. Yeah. That's the total of everything. Yeah, so that is the total of 40031 and 32. So let's go back to my spreadsheet, my journal. 40031 and 32. 4003. Let's click on OK. So it's the sum of these two, which is 79688. Into company. Let's go to wine rooms. Let's see what we got there. Right. So, oh, this are all. Yeah, 40031 and 32. This is actually the account monitor, so you can use this to view your transactions, and these are actually year to date. These are year to date figures, so these are totals for the year. So if I go back here, I've only looked at 1 month, so let's look at all of 2018. Let's click on OK, and the sum of all the entered credits, which is 963,212.55, 963,212.55. So you can see that you can drill back from your reports back to the journals. You can see how it all comes in and how you can generate your accounts as well. So if I go back to my reports, just to show you one other report. So financial reporting center. I'm going to look at my Acme. Let's look at that. That was my income statement. Let's look at profit and loss. Profit and loss. My cost center. Okay, let's go back to this income statement. So you can drill down, you can expand, you can see by area. So my wine rooms, it's my year to date July. You can see the details, and this gives you a very good overview of your data. Now, yeah, so that's basically having a very quick look at building your chart of account structure, your data, your loading a journal, running a few reports very quickly within 1 hour. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Thank you.